Hello bass family and welcome to Everything Bass. Today we're moving on with the technique development series. This is unit 11. So part of the way you can develop your technique is, well, let me start over. We can all move our fingers really fast. Sometimes we look at our lack of speed when we try to execute something as a technical flaw, but sometimes we can move our fingers fast, we just don't know where to put them that fits the musical situation at the time. So you're going to see a little bit of a shift in these technique development series, and that's where I'm going to start having you think a little more. In the earlier patterns were all, or exercises were all just patterns. So you could just memorize the sequence, and that's good, and it serves a purpose. But now we want to start engaging our brain and thinking a little bit, and that's what we're doing with today's exercise. If you download the chart from my patreon.com account, that's patreon.com/everythingbass, any Backstage Pass subscriber can actually for free just download as many charts as you want. You'll see that the first measure is based on an F-sharp major scale, the second measure on a B major scale, and the third on an E major scale. And we're moving across the fingerboard like in the previous exercises. What we're doing here, though, is we're taking a sequence or a melodic phrase, and we're going to apply the same phrase to each scale. Let me show you what I mean. So starting on the F sharp, we're going to play the F sharp, then the major third, then we're going to play the major second, the perfect fourth, the major third, the perfect fifth. Then we go down to the major seventh below the root, which is a half step below the root. In this case, it'd be an E sharp in this scale. And yeah, you can have E sharps. And then you have an F sharp again. I'm sorry, after the E sharp, you play the major second again, the G sharp, and you go back, and that's the sequence. Boy, I got all rattled on. Let me start from the top, and you can hear it. Now, if you want to kind of look at the frets, it's second fret, first fret, fourth fret, second fret, first fret, fourth fret, first fret, fourth fret. And that's a melodic phrase, a little thirds thing where I'm playing in thirds, and then I jump below the root, and then I play the second, and that's how that pattern goes. So then what we do is the next measure, you'll see it's a B major scale. So we're playing the same pattern. And then you've got the E major scale, started on the E on the second fret on the D string. Now I should hit pause for a second and say that if I'm throwing out all these intervals, perfect fifth, major second, things like that, and you're not sure what they are, I did a complete series talking about understanding intervals. And if you go to Understanding Intervals 1 and go through their 6 units, 6 short videos, you'll know all the names of the intervals and how to find them between the root and the octave, including the octave. And that might help you in future lessons, not even mine, just any videos you check on YouTube. I think it's really beneficial. I think it's necessary for musicians to at least know the names of the intervals. So it helps them communicate better, helps them improvise a lot better. So here we have this exercise where you're playing that phrase. I still want you to think technically, use the one finger per fret here. What I don't want is that, kind of like moving around and playing like this. For this exercise, I want you to kind of dedicate one finger per fret and play through the exercise. You can also move it up and down. You can try your own roots. I've had students do it chromatically. What I mean by that is they'll play this pattern, then they'll go up to the G, G sharp, and so on and so forth. So you can do what you want with it. But this is like the very starting point of learning how to take a melodic phrase and play it in all 12 keys. So it's a real gentle tiptoe into the short end of the pool, but I think it'll show a lot of, or give you a lot of benefit. Couple things, remember this is a technical exercise, so we want to make sure we're playing cleanly, the notes sound full and big, there's no buzzes and rattles, we're working on each finger on the fretting hand. But I also want you thinking about it, that you're playing over the F sharp major scale, then you're playing over the B major scale, then the E major scale. Be conscious about that, and I believe it'll really help you advance your musicianship. Check this exercise out, put it into your practice routine for a week or so, and let me know in the comments below, how did it go for you? What stumbling blocks were there, if there were any? Do you have any suggestions to make the exercise better? I mean, I really want this to be a two-way conversation. So feel free. It's a safe space here. Just, share with all of us. Let's get on to the Encore Item today. And it's a classic rock album, which is funny because when I was young, classic rock was, I just never thought of bands I listened to in high school as now classic rock because to me they're still vital and cool, and I dig them. And not saying that classic rock isn't cool, but this one falls heavily in that category. It's one of my favorite albums from when I was in high school, and it's Heart's Little Queen. So this album, obviously, when you mention Little Queen, for those who follow the band, they think of Barracuda. And it's a great song, iconic song. It's been used in so many soundtracks. I've heard it on TV commercials. I think a lot of times when guitarists get a new flanger, they start playing the guitar part. It's just a very influential tune, and it's a great tune. I'm not taking anything away from it. But it'd be a disservice to the band to not dig a little deeper. The bass player on this was Steve Fossen. He didn't play on all the tracks. He played on most of the tracks. Howard Leese on a couple tracks played Moog bass. And then on one track, I don't think there was a bass track. So I want to highlight a couple. If this is a new album, you haven't heard it, or you haven't heard it in a long time, you want to go back with fresh ears and listen to it, I want to highlight a couple tracks that are powerful to me. And of course, you can go with Kick It Out, which is a driving rock song, really excellent. I mean, it's driving. I'd love to hear a modern band redo that tune. I think that tune's got a timelessness about it that's very cool. And all the performance is great. The vocal performance knocks my socks off. But let's highlight one particular song, which is Love Alive. This song has a very beautiful, peaceful, serene intro. And then when the bass comes in, check out the bass line. If you want inspiration to maybe a different way to approach a bass line in a rock song, check that song out. It's got a lot of stops and intervallic leaps. It's very cool. It's so, like, it is, to me, it's the hook. Now, maybe it's because I'm a bass player, but to me, once that bass line comes in, that's kind of the hook of the album. And I just find it, super interesting, and I think Steve did a great job. If he's the one who wrote it, I think he did a phenomenal job taking a creative look at it. At how to play a rock bass line. So definitely, I couldn't give a higher recommendation to check out the album Little Queen by Heart. And, of course, the vocal performance is insanely good. All right, that's it. Technique Development 11 and Heart's Little Queen. This has been so much fun, guys. I am thanking you guys for supporting me on Patreon. That's been giving me the funds to actually invest in like a new lav mic, trying some different things out. I'm not really satisfied with the mic on the cabinet, but it's all I can really afford right now. But hopefully you can hear the bass lines enough. Probably going to make an announcement in the future about a whole new way I'll be doing the videos. But that's kind of behind the curtain, and but I'll talk to you about that later. So in the very least, I hope you enjoyed this lesson. Let me know how it's going. Share with me in the comments below, and of course, join our Facebook group. It's a very cool group. It's if you search on Facebook, Everything Bass with Dale Titus. Don't just do Everything Bass, because that'll take you to a fishing site for everything bass, but Everything Bass with Dale Titus. And join the conversation. We're at the time of recording this, we're just about at 500 members. I post daily in it, and there's some cool interactions. I'll post questions. Other guys will post comments on things. I try to post inspirational quotes and memes from the iconic players of our time, from current all the way to the beginning of bass playing, to hopefully keep you fed, that you feel like you're moving towards things. I'll also highlight videos at times and give you a little extra ideas on how I would practice them, or maybe where I would put the focus. In all, it's part of the beginning of developing a true community. And a community is really where we can have conversations with each other, and we can share and we can grow together. And that's truly what I want. All right, guys, thank you so much for stopping by. Please, if you're not a subscriber to the channel, it's free. Just go down and click the old subscribe button below this video. Hit the old thumbs up icon for giving me a like, and hit the bell icon, which, of course, will notify you every time I post. I post only on the weekends, but I do post usually 5 to 6 videos on the weekends to kind of set you for the next week of doing lessons. Also, check out my playlists. This is something that's been requested, and I grouped the playlists into numbered lessons. Like lesson 1, here's the videos I would think you should try. There's even one I think called Absolute Beginner, where if you just bought the bass, everything seems new to you, check out that playlist first, and it'll give you some of the fundamentals of how to approach future lessons. And of course, then I also separate tapping and slapping so that you can, if you just want to focus on those techniques, they're in a playlist, hopefully make it easier to find. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you at the next video.